What's up guys, welcome back to the channel, and today I'm back with another video, and this time we'll be discussing a very interesting topic, that being the 2021 MVP. And every single year around this time, MVP debates start heating up big time, and this year is no different. And right now at this moment, there are really three players in the MVP race, that being Jokic, Joel Embiid, and Steph Curry. And the player as of late who's getting a ton of attention has been Steph Curry in light of his great play. Now, Steph being so transcendently great has raised a lot of questions. Is he the MVP of the 2021 season? That is the question we're answering today, and I'm going to give you guys my MVP pick for the 2021 season. Now, before I get into that, if you haven't already subscribed, you should do so, and if you could like this video, I'd greatly appreciate it. Now, with that out of the way, let's get into the video. As you guys know, the MVP has been around for 60 plus years, since 1956. And what it means to be an MVP varies from person to person. It can be the best player on the best team, or the literal most valuable player. And some people fall in between that, and some people change their opinion based on the year. And that is one of the big problems with the MVP award. There is no defined criteria. But I will say historically, there has been some really great precedent. And I will talk about that precedent later on, as right now, I want to look at Nikola Jokic and his great 2021 season. So this year, Jokic has had a career year, averaging 26.2 points per game, 10.9 boards, 8.7 assists on 56, 40, and 85 splits. No doubt some great numbers from the best center in the NBA. And Jokic by himself is one of the most exciting players in the league, and this Denver Nuggets team has been a pleasant surprise. And I think anyone who watches Denver's games knows the immense impact Jokic has on this Nuggets offense. And if you want to look at this year from a historical perspective, Jokic is one of two players ever to average 25 points per game, 10 boards, 5 assists, on 40% shooting from 3. The only other player to do that in a single year was Larry Bird in 1985. And looking more closely at Jokic's scoring ability, in NBA history, there's been 14 players ever to average 25 points per game on a true shooting percentage above 60, while shooting 40% or better from 3 and 85% or better from the line. Out of those 14 players, Jokic ranks 6th, only behind Steph Curry and Kevin Durant, who have done it multiple times. Now looking at Jokic in 2021, comparing to his peers, he's been absolutely dominant. He's 10th in points per game, 9th in rebounds, 6th in assists, the only player top 10 in all three of those categories. He's 1st in field goals made, 2nd in 2-pointers made, 2nd in PER, 1st in win shares, 1st in offensive win shares, 1st in win shares per 48, 1st in box plus minus, 1st in offensive box plus minus, 1st in VORP, and has a 7th best offensive rating. So from an advanced stat perspective, Jokic has dominated this year. And look at the normal stats, he's also been dominant as an all-around offensive player. Also in addition to that, Denver has the 4th best record in the Western Conference. So Jokic, when it comes to MVP standards, being the best player on one of the best teams, he checks every single box you look for in an MVP candidate. Now the second player I want to look at is Joel Embiid. Embiid this year has been dominant on both ends of the floor, averaging a career-high 30 points per game, 11.1 boards, 3.1 assists on 51, 37, and 85 splits. And his Philadelphia team has the 2nd best record in the Eastern Conference. Now, I don't want to come off dismissive, but Joel Embiid this year has been great, but like always, he's missed a ton of games. Right now, only having played 41 total games. That is the same amount of games played as LeBron James, who's seemingly been out for a couple of months. And I think Embiid being out that long, missing so many games, has really hurt him in his case for being the MVP. And I think at this point in time, he'll definitely finish top 3, but he's not going to win the award. Now the last MVP candidate we have is Steph Curry, the most recent player to enter these talks. And Steph this year has arguably had the best year of his career, averaging 31.3 points per game, 5.6 boards, 5.8 assists on 48, 42, and 91 splits. And I've talked at length of how great Steph has been this year, and from an all-time perspective, how dominant he's been on the offensive end. And I think when we look back in 10 to 15 years, we'll say that 2021 Curry for this year was the best overall player during the 2021 season. But my main point of this video is to differentiate being the best player and the MVP. Yes, Steph Curry has been dominant. Yes, he had an 11-game streak where he averaged 40 points per game. And yes, he's been the best shooter in the league this year. But all that, in my opinion, does not make you the MVP. I think the NBA MVP, they set a criteria, it's unwritten, but it's pretty well known to its hardcore fans. And one of those requirements is your team being a contending team, or at least a team in the top 7 seeds. And unfortunately, Steph Curry's Warriors right now are the 10th seed in the Western Conference with a 31-30 record, barely above 500. Now yes, Steph did miss some time, all those losses are on him, but at the end of the day, we're looking at an MVP candidate. You have to take into account how many games their team wins. And I do have some numbers to back this up. If you look at the MVP winners in NBA history, only 2 times has a player ever played on a team with a losing record. Bob Pettit was the first ever MVP, and Kareem was the only MVP to ever miss the playoffs. Besides that, there's never been an MVP ever whose team had a losing record. And since the modern era, when media voters vote on the award, there has never been an MVP with a losing record. Now, also looking at more precedent, there's only been 6 MVPs ever to play on a team that won less than 60% of their games. And those players include Moses Malone twice, Bob McAdoo once, Bob Pettit, Kareem, and Russell Westbrook. So that precedent right there, I think, really kills Curry's MVP case. Yes, he has played great, he's been super valuable, and there are some really great stats to back up Curry being the most valuable player, but I think the MVP award in the NBA sense is the best player on one of the top tier teams. And Nikola Jokic has been that player for the majority of the year. Now to end this video, I'll say 2 things. Steph Curry this year, in my opinion, has been the best overall player. And in recent NBA history, the one comparison I see is 06 Kobe. Once again, an example of a player having an outstanding individual year, but his team not being up to par. And yes, I understand that comparison is not exact, but I think is a very good comp for 2021 Steph. A player who is super valuable, carrying his team, having a great offensive year. Now, the last thing I'll say in this video regarding the MVP is that I think Joel Embiid, for the first maybe 40 to 45% of the year, was the outright MVP, and he had everyone's support. But seemingly every year with Joel Embiid, he is not healthy when it matters most. And I think he missed crucial time when it could have been building his case as the MVP. And only playing 41 games compared to Jokic, who's played every game and whose team is the 4th seed in the West, I think you have to look at that and you have to take that into account. So in conclusion, Jokic is my MVP. Joel Embiid was great, but he missed too many games, and Steph was also great, but his team was not good enough. And I will throw in one caveat to hedge my bets. If Denver over the last 12 games plays absolutely garbage, they go 2-10 or 3-9, and Jokic absolutely falls off, while the Warriors play great and Steph once again goes off, has a 40-point game streak, you could make a very compelling argument if that Warriors team was the 7th seed. We've seen it before with Westbrook, and maybe, just maybe, the voters would give it to Steph Curry off narrative as well as great individual play. Because like I said before, Steph Curry this year has been the best player in the NBA. The only question is, will that get him the MVP? So that is the end of the video, and as always, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys next time.